Welcome to Scars to Stars, where conversations and personal stories let us know we are not alone. In this show, you will meet authors and speakers from our books and events as they share vulnerable personal stories to spread hope and inspire you through adversities in your own life. The world is a difficult place. You will find like-minded people here with kind hearts and supportive souls. I am your host, Dina Brown Mitchell. I am a suicide survivor and the founder of the Realize Foundation. I am so glad you are here. Let's dig into this meaningful conversation. Hi, everybody. It's Dina at the Realize Foundation, and I'm back with another special guest today, and her name is Jamie Hunter. And Jamie, I'm so excited for you to share your story. And welcome to the Scars to Stars podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm super excited to do this and chat with everybody. So
Yeah. Well, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you as far as what you do in the world?
Yeah, so I am Jamie. I actually have 3 children. I've got 2 kids that are in their 20s. They are out of the home, and I've got an 8-year-old. Big gap there. I recently got married. It's been it's going to be 2 years this September. And so, which is exciting. But I actually worked in the medical field for 18 years, recently retired from that to do my online business full time last year. So it's been a little over a year. And I've got 4 step kids. So big family. I just really got the inspiration to do more online and to help other people with, a couple of things that I do with my business. So that's a little bit about me there.
Yeah, awesome. And for all of you listening, Jamie is in our Scars to Stars Volume 5 book that's coming out. It'll probably come out before you see this video, but it'll come out in May of 26. And so I'm going to ask her to give us a little overview of what her chapter's about.
Yes. Oh my goodness, you guys. So this was the first thing that I have done. And wow, it was an experience. I really couldn't decide on one thing that I wanted to share. I think so many of us go through life, doing so many things, or so many things have happened to us. So I thought, you know what? I want to give a whole overview of my whole life because I think a lot of people can, resonate with that. But man, just going through, different things in my life where, I was an addict, but I've got 16 years clean with that. And that is one thing that I do, outside of my other business, to help other people, move around with, being an addict and be able to help heal from the inside out. So, I shared a little bit about that, but I also shared about, I think me as a child in my childhood and how I went through so much and so many trials, and I wasn't able to move through those, or how to move through those, or how to heal, because I just wasn't taught that as a child. And I think a lot of us, are in the same boat. And so, that's something that I talked about in the book, and how I was able to navigate, go from something that may have happened to me, that was really, really hard, but I was able to navigate that with the resources and being able to meet different people and go through the healing process. So, man, I just kind of went through my whole entire life and showed exactly what I went through and how I'm able to help others do the very same thing, to identify how to, become a better person and be okay with it, and not feel like that, you are this frail person that's going to be like that for the rest of your life, where we can actually move and become better and become bigger, because we're all deserving of that. And so many of us aren't taught that, but being able to know that, we're all worth it and we can have that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. And I have read your chapter, so I want to ask you to talk a little bit about what started this whole journey for you with the with you being in track and how you were on a certain trajectory and then everything changed. Hi there, it's Dina. If you like our podcast and you're enjoying learning about other people's stories of overcoming adversity, please go over to therealizefoundation.org and support us by donating. We believe that conversations, community, and personal story can change lives and reduce suicide ideation. And we also have a way, if you have a business, you can support us without money out of your pocket. So go on over to realizefoundation.org and look at the donate page, and you can learn how to support us as a business, and also you can donate any amount. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my goodness. I've always been very competitive with like sports and things like that. I always loved it. I grew up with it with my father and my brothers. And I've always been really good at, different sports. And so track really, it's just something that I absolutely loved. And so I just knew I had other colleges looking at me at the time when I was in high school. They're saying, oh, you're really, really good. We really could give you a scholarship to different schools. And so I was excited. That was huge for me, and I was like, I've always wanted to go into the medical field. So I was like, this is a way that I can do both, right? Where I can do something I absolutely love and then be able to go to school and do that also where it could be, paid for. I grew up in a family, we had 8 kids, and my parents just did not have enough financially. And so I just like, this is perfect. So when I talk about it in the book where, something medically happened and I wasn't able to, do track anymore. And that was devastating for me. And it crushed my world. And I didn't know how to navigate through that. And it just led me down a path that I thought I'd never go down. And that's where it all started, where, I became an addict, hang out with the wrong people. But I talk about it in the book on how I was able to go from that point on and be able to heal later, so yeah.
Yeah. So, Janie, my next question for you is, I know you have some resources and a new podcast for people who have had addictions and want to recover from that, or maybe just they have recovered and they need long-term support. What does that look like? What are you doing for them?
Yeah, so this is something that I have been working on for some time. And I just released my podcast. And, I made it a space where people can come and just listen. I feel like as, in anything that we do, whether it's addiction, whether it's overeating, it could be anything, that we struggle with, and we feel like we're alone. And so I mainly made this podcast so people can come in and listen and resonate with it. And then I do invite people if they want to come onto my Instagram and be able to interact there. And if they choose to go ahead and work with me, I do have links where they can click on from my Instagram, and I will be dropping that into my podcast. But, just basically having a space where you can come in and have resources and be able to learn skills, that you can have in your little bag, right? That you can have for any time. Because I think, with anything that you can, if you have the proper skills, then you're able to use that tool, right? And then be able to use it over and over again because, it's never going to go away. We're always going to be who we are, and life is going to life. And it happens all the time, right? Things happen every single day. And being able to have that skill or that tool and be able to use it more and more, you're going to get more confident. You're going to feel more secure when you can use those proper tools to become a better person and a better version of you. And that can be in so many different instances, spiritually, mentally, physically. I help people with being able to help with their body feeling like, okay, you're having an anxiety attack. How can I calm myself down? How can I implement that, with the mind and be able to interject the two, because I think a lot of us just don't have those tools to do that. So that is something I wish I had, growing up and be able to have that just in the last 16 years. I've had AA, I've had different things that I can go to. But really having somewhere that you can come on one-on-one or just even in a group. So, I'm able to offer both of those.
I'm so happy you joined us for this conversation. My wish is that you found comfort and hope in your own unique situation. If you resonated with our message, please head over to therealizefoundation.org, where you can apply to write your own story in one of our books. You can also download our 60 Ideas for Self-Care on the resources page. I can't wait to hear from you. Until next time, you are not alone, you are worthy, and you are enough.